All right.
Evening.
Evening. Welcome, everyone. This is part 3. I think we did part 2 last week. We talked about.
You think you forget where we're at?
Sometimes I do. It's a big thing. But did part 2. We talked about sometimes sequels not being great. But part 3, there are a lot of great trilogies out there. I'm Dave IT, pretty nerdy guy. So. Not a nerdy guy. So ultimately, what I'd like to see is, of all the trilogies out there, what is your favorite? Go ahead and leave a comment. What is your favorite trilogy? I would have to say I'm gonna have to go nerdy with mine. I think it's gonna be Lord of the Rings.
I can't forget The Godfathers.
The Godfathers. It's a good pick. Good pick. So yeah, let us know what yours is. Hope everyone had a great Halloween. Hopefully everyone's too hungover from that, but everyone was safe. So tonight we will be going back into the Barely Fishing 2.0. 4 to continue on the heater, and we're going to be working on the duct work in there, and then we are going to switch over to Dutch's shack, the Dutch hut, and we'll be looking at some things there. So most of this work was done on Sunday.
Yeah. We're with we spent quite a few hours making sure everything looked just right, and Jerry's got a little ADD, so everything is just so. And so there's actually, for the little bit of time that we have into actually video clips, you can only show so much of building duct work. So yeah,
true. We try to make it entertaining in between. So Laserbeam, their favorite trilogy is Lord of the Rings or Die Hard.
Well, Die Hard.
The question is, so Star Wars was a trilogy originally. Do you consider it that anymore?
No.
So Die Hard's had more than 3. So
hello.
So with that, we'll go ahead and get into the work that we did this Sunday.
Cue the Jerbear.
Cue the Jerbear.
Hey there, Jerbear here with Barely Fishing. So we're getting back to the furnace here and ducting this heat so we get some to the back of the shack. So what our plan of attack is going to be is we're going to take some dryer ducting, 4-inch, and we're going to cut a hole through the wall over there, and we're going to run it along the floor. We're going to wrap the piping with some insulated wrap, and then make one spot in the bathroom that's going to be a radiant heat. But this way we're going to try to get that furnace to direct that heat through the bathroom a lot faster. We don't want to get the bathroom too hot. And then we'll put more of our flow and forced air back to here. And then we're going to build a wood ducting system that ducts it all the way to the back of the house.
Now, no drugs were used in this. This is sped up. Don't mess up your eyes.
Yeah, we found whatever Babe Ruth was taking back in the day there.
I know Will's in the comments here. He's a Yankees fan. You gotta be careful.
And after a little bit here, we'll show you what the Jerbear looks like in cartoon form.
So before we get into this, you want to explain what the process was like? We had to clean up a lot of stuff there, as you saw.
Well, we're hoping that with all this, being able to move the hot air back to the back of the shack and in the center of the shack, having the different registers out, that we can eliminate that blue flame heater completely. That's the goal with this. So yeah, we're taking a little extra time doing this, but you'll see it turns out pretty good here.
Yeah. And with that, I mean, that whole area is supposed to be entertainment system. That's more important, in my opinion, than heat. But,
there has been a rumor of an upgrade to the entertainment system.
True.
Now we've got 42 inches of wall there, where the old blue flame heater was, and it sounds like rumor is that there's a 50 or 50 plus inch TV going there. So we'll see.
We'll see how that goes.
Okay, so we got the blank out of the back side. So for the register, you can get these little adapters online pretty cheap. This one is off the old furnace, didn't have to bother that way. but it just kind of goes in, inserts in place, and locks in place nicely, and then we can have our adapter off of that. Now our adjustable elbow that we have, this will give us flexibility we need, that we should be able to get through the wall with that. So yeah, wish me luck.
This guy likes to supervise. He's kind of a hard ass, but you know, he gets the job done, I guess. So.
Okay, so that would have been much easier if we had drilled our own hole, but then we would have had lots of extra holes in the wall. So, but finally got it. A little more difficult because wrestling back in there, but yeah.
No, you didn't put it in the wrong hole, right? I hear people don't like that.
Okay, so we were talking about the ducting, talking about the ducting in here and how we had to remove it. This is where they had it running originally to get some heat out into the main area, and they had an external fan up there and everything, so that's all been eliminated. And basically what we did is it came up from that hole there. There's our new hole, you get the point. But coming up from that hole, came up the wall here.
Okay, so the new old hole that's down there, didn't really see beforehand. They had taken and filled that with expanded foam, with spray foam.
Spray can foam.
Yeah. And so we just cut that out. And so using that as our access point.
Didn't Jerry chew it out of that?
Couldn't quite get in there. I tried.
that.
I tried to put a little caramel sauce on there, but it didn't work. No, not. Will asks.
Yep. So we got a question here. Pop that up.
If we made this one from scratch, this was actually this one here. This is Jerry Bear's new shack. It's an older manufactured shack. From what we've gathered, it is about the same time Ice Castle started producing.
Yeah, right around there.
That this thing was built. The Dutch hut, when we get to that one, that one is one that we completely built. So
yep. So Dan custom built his, which you'll see later in the video here. So
And yeah, up and over. Yeah, just kind of I'm sure it worked, but we're hopefully coming up with a little different system to help out with that. So
there's the Jerry Bear in action. Crikey.
it's not.
we're knocking the dust bunnies loose on that one.
What sound does the dust bunny make?
Don't know, but I'm getting all kind of, unless I'm getting some sort of special effect on this thing.
This clip's a little out of sequence here, but
Well, I'm going to pause it here too. We got a question. So Christy says, what's the plan for the old holes? I don't think she means the fishing holes.
that we can put over the top of that. At this point, we're leaving them until we're sure this is that we're not going to be utilizing them for anything else.
You can see our connection's done. That's it, 9 out of 10. Yeah. So we live out in the boondocks in Northwest Minnesota. So we got the internet that we got. So bear with us if there's some connection things. It looks like we're green again here. So hopefully that's good.
Because the wall is thicker than the space we have in the depth of the saw blade. Now we get to chisel a little bit and do it again. Okay, so here's a problem. We're getting ready to run our furnace ducting through, and we end up going right next to where the fuel line came through for the propane. Well, you can see I started a little pilot hole just the upper right hand corner of that pilot, or the propane hole, and didn't figure that. I was hoping there'd be enough meat on there to hold the hole saw, but there wasn't. So I'll show you a little trick that we're going to do to fix that.
What Will said there's kind of funny.
So all we
We've
need
been doing
really,
this barely fishing thing for a little over a year now.
Yep.
And so, yeah, if I spell barely for anything, it's BEA anymore. So, yeah, I get corrected on that a lot. But
Pretty
yeah,
sure you were writing a legal document. And
it was too.
it's trying to do something.
Yeah.
But so the moral of this part of the video is throw more wood at it.
Yeah. When in doubt.
is something to be able to hold this bit in place so that the 4-inch saw doesn't wobble all over. And now with an extra little bit of material, hopefully this 1/4 inch will be thick enough to hold on to it. But that should take care of it.
And then also make sure that the saw is not going to hit those screws you just put in.
Dave, no.
Jared was worried that I was going to cut right through these screws.
Right around them.
And these I don't cut through. There is one in the middle of the wall that I found.
That's the turbo drill function.
We're hitting on the bottom in here, so now I gotta.
Now we know drilling holes isn't always the most exciting part, but sometimes it's nice to see what tool are you using and how it's done.
Yeah, so the problem why we had to put that there, and yeah, happens a lot. You get the pilot running through, and you don't have enough material to hold that pilot bit in place.
Now comes the fun part, because the wall is thicker than the space we have in the depth of the saw blade. Now we get to chisel a little bit and do it again.
I'm going to pause this here. We did have a question come in.
No. Basically, we get an idea on what we want to accomplish, and when we're dealing with an existing fish house like this, we're just trying to incorporate everything the best we can. Sometimes it takes a couple tries at it. Like an earlier video with the placement of the furnace itself.
Yep.
We had to relocate that from where we were originally planning on putting it. But it's one of those things, you come across obstacles and you just
cut a hole in them.
Yeah. Measure once and cut 3 times. So
right. And it's still too short.
Hey, I can see through here now.
Now that noise in the background you just heard there is the vacuum. Ironically enough, Jer Bear probably has ODC, not officially diagnosed, but anytime there's a mess, we had a little bit of wood scraps on the floor, he busted the
he's
vacuum.
right on it.
He's
So,
right on it.
by the way, if you ever need any cleaning done, invite him over for, dinner or something like that.
Yeah. He'll just do it on his own.
Yeah,
You don't even have
yeah.
to mention it.
You'll like that one.
Okay, so I'm supposed to be waiting for David to give me a thumbs up. That's not a thumb. There you go. So, we're getting to it now where we're getting ready to finish this up. You can see we got the carpet cleaned out and all prepped. We've got our ducting all built, insulated, taped up. So now we got to do is slide everything in place. What we're going to start working on now is building our decorative cover that's going to go over the
Yes, it is.
the nice shiny silver ducting. But yeah, so it only shows a few seconds on video, but we've been working on this for the last 2 hours to get everything just right. Put it together, take it apart, put it together, and then cut some more because it's still too small. So yeah. Well, a couple hours later, time consuming, but we're making sure everything's done right here. Basically what we got the dryer vent pipe.
Special effects. Yeah.
Very flimsy, but works real well. I got it wrapped in, I don't have any of it here to show you. We'll show you after a bit. Ducting insulation, it's about a 1/4 inch thick. You can see that's a foil looking stuff on there. Everything's taped, put together. We got our ledger boards there for to run our cedar shelving around it. Now in the bathroom in the front corner, we're just going to let the radiant heat out of that front corner work as heating up the bathroom here. If we need more than that, we can always poke a hole in it and bring some air out of there. Come through here. I'm not going to have any registers here. Our first register for the main part of the shaft will be sitting right here, and then the cedar railing is going to narrow down so we can make it past the fish holes, and we're going to have another register in the back.
So another question here. So we'll ask what the most unique thing is that you've added to your ice house that others may not have. I don't want to ruin it, actually, because if you're thinking what I'm thinking rumble, rumble.
That's same here.
Yeah.
We'll actually we'll come back to that question because we're actually going to touch on that here in another couple of minutes.
Yep.
So good question. Thanks for the comment. Yeah, we'll touch on that here. You'll see.
That way it keeps everybody's feet seems nice and warm. And so now time to cut some cedar.
Da, da, da.
Now I cut out the parts where you missed it like 7 times.
It's getting pretty late in the day here. I wanted to get at least some cedar in place so you can see what it all covered up is going to kind of look like.
Yep.
And here we go.
Yeah, so we're gonna pop over to your shack here shortly. Now, just to finish up, all we have left to do is finish running the.
No, what we're from here, it's just putting the cedar on, getting everything decorative, and then getting the front cabinetry back together.
Right.
Getting the furnace securely mounted down.
And we did have to uninstall the shitter in order to put all this in, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another one. Yeah. That might be a whole new episode in itself.
It might be.
We got to build a whole new one.
Right.
Whoever put that in before us, that was not going anywhere. There was other things mounted that would have came apart pretty easy. That thing was going nowhere.
And then we do have a question about the wood. Any such was cedar special? It was
actually
fence planks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 5/8 thick, 5 3/8 wide. Cedar dog-eared fence post. They're like $3 a piece, and so super cheap and easy to work with, and
goes with the aesthetic nice though.
Yep, and you don't have to worry about moisture.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the Dutch hut. As you can see here, this would be Dutch's shack.
This is the one that we built custom here.
This is a custom built one.
So this is the Dutch hut. You might have seen it in the previous videos. This at one point in time was a 2014 ice castle. Tree fell on it. I bought just the frame, just the deck down below. Built everything up, and we'll add that in, let you see what it's like. You guys got any questions about building or whatever, let me know. What we're going to be doing to modify this is we're going to show you step by step how we put the shack pucks on. We're going to use this as our demonstration shack. Come on in, we'll go over a couple other things. I had a little stroke there, I think. The
shack pucks. So for those that may be new viewers, shack pucks, we do sell them at barelyfishing.com. They are, I'll let you explain them this time.
They made out of HDMW, I think, UHMW, something like that.
WD-40.
Yeah. Same stuff that Hyfax material on a snowmobile is made out of. But basically they're 3.5 inch diameter by 1 3/4 inches thick. We've radiused the outside of it so that it has a nice flow when you bring it out of the ice. Basically, for all the years been ice fishing, we take a 2x4 or whatever, we throw it up between the fish house and the ice, and then when you jack the fish house back up after the weekend, well, sometimes you get the 2x4s back, sometimes you don't. And we even watched one from Smoky Hills, one of their videos about how to set up a fish house. They're using green treated 4x4.
And it was like a 6-year-old video, but that's
still,
the recommendation even.
That's the only one they had on there on how to set up your shack.
Right.
So these are permanently mounted to the bottom of the fish house. Mm-hmm. And he left his on the ice for 6 weeks.
Yeah. So they are installed on Camp David right now, and they left my shack up for about 6 weeks. They started getting some cracks. The weather was changing up at Lake of the Woods. Buried in snow, watered, came in and
Ice up over the
refroze.
tongue.
Right. And it popped right up.
Yep.
So that nothing freezes to them. So they're a great solution.
Yep.
And they're mounted right to your shack. So.
And that's an upcoming video. We'll be putting it on this shack here.
Yep. So let's get back to Dutch's hut. Welcome to MTV Cribs.
So, one mistake that I've made while building this is get rid of the crib board.
The knocking you heard was his
the noise,
board.
maybe. There we go. Okay. So one mistake that I made when I was building this is I didn't have the vapor barrier correct around the wheel well here. So moisture got in there, rotted out the countertop, which looked very similar to this. So I've already done and rebuilt a new countertop here, got rid of the moisture behind, put all that back together. But now I got to build new countertop for over here so they match. That's one thing we're going to do. Now also in here, I've already put solar power to this. I've got a single panel up top. I've got a couple just marine batteries up in front.
Dun, dun, dun.
So today we're starting a project that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. When I built the Dutch hut, I'd originally bought this Renogy 100-watt solar system just to kind of. Eventually, I'd like to get it to a point where I don't have to worry about running the generator over the weekend.
What we were talking about.
So we're going to walk you through step by step. The whole goal of this is I'm starting out with a basic system, just a 100-watt panel, some basic components here that we'll talk about more if anybody has any interest. But this was a Renogy kit. It was a 100-watt Renogy kit. This I had.
Sorry, I'm going to pause here. I figured we'd probably block some of this. So
Yeah.
Did add in the note here. Jared Bear is working on a different project in the back. So the audio on this from a few years ago, lot newer to the channel and everything. So it does get a little iffy. And Dutch will try to explain a little bit more here, but poke at Jared there, just making noise in the background.
Yep. I think he was working on a pickup box trailer.
Yep.
Order separately, and I bought a big enough. This is by the way, a 12 volt to 110 volt power inverter, 2,000 watt. And inside the shack, I've got 2 marine deep cycle batteries, and I'm probably switching them as time goes on or adding to them. The end goal is to walk through step by step how these work out in the ice. I've never seen anybody try it in the wintertime. So see if it works first of all. If it does, great. And then how we can add on to it to make it so that during the wintertime, go out for a weekend and don't have to worry about running the generator, just run off battery power and solar panel.
So switch to the action clip.
Yep.
Now I did silicone underneath everything here. I used a roofing, it's called Blackjack. Put that underneath everything. So I just run my screws through it. And then after all the screws were in, I went back over the top of them again with some more.
Right. One question here, and it's probably a good time to touch on that because we don't have footage of things, but
marine batteries as opposed to car batteries. A car battery, from my understanding here, now I'm not a professional on batteries, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So,
and they kept the lights on.
Yeah. No, that was,
Motel
if
6.
anybody, yeah, there you go. Paul Baudette. But anyway, so the difference between the batteries, car battery is designed to be able to withstand a quick discharge and a quick recharge. A marine battery, you can discharge it quick. Usually they like a little slower recharge on them. So in these, the marine batteries, they have a little more reserve built into them. So that's reason why most folks go with the marine batteries.
La Quinta Spanish for car batteries.
Here you're seeing the layout of the solar accessories. You got the charge controller,
Now,
the inverter.
why don't you go ahead and where your system sits today, right? You did this a year and a half ago. How does your system work today?
Um, Today, I love it because basically what would happen is you go out, things are winding down the end of the night. You're running out of gas, say 10 o'clock at night, whatever. Instead of going out there, filling the gas tank back up on the generator, letting her run overnight, I just bring the generator in, flip over to battery power, get up in the morning, have breakfast, run, watch some movies. I got my snoring machine on.
Yeah, I was going to say, turn your head sideways here. He's got gray hair, so
Yeah,
he uses a CPAP machine, so he's got to run that.
So got the CPAP running all night long. And basically what happens in the morning, get up, keep running, watch more movies, fishing. And then about noonish, then it's about time to turn the generator back on and charge batteries back up.
Yeah. This comment real quick. So Christy's a little jealous that you can run a full mini fridge in your place.
Oh, yeah.
I debate this, right? Like the Jer Bear wanted to put a fridge in his. You have a fridge in yours. You know that it's cold outside, right? Like you just buy a Yeti cooler, stuff that in there, you're good to go.
But okay, so we have our ugly lure competition weekend.
Yep.
And that's a 5 days on the ice. Okay. Unless you're going to keep the
Doesn't
front,
warm up.
Unless you're going to keep the front area where the fridge is at 20 below or 10 below, whatever it is. It's nice having the fridge.
Sure. Now,
frozen condiments, a ketchup sickle.
Hey, it works the same on a hot dog, in my opinion. I know in the Barely Fishing 2.2, there's that front hole kind of where they're putting the heater in. And I feel like that almost works as a fridge, right? You open it up, you don't drill a hole, but it's still got the heat around it. That should work as a fridge, in my opinion. What do you think?
Oh, well, I've tried that before where leave one part insulated from the heat and it turns into a deep freeze. Not so much a refrigerator.
Dan's got knowledge on holes, I guess. So.
Tried it unsuccessfully.
All right. So once again, we're going to go back to present day Dutch Hut. That was, what he installed so far and plans for what's coming up here.
And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be modifying that. Going to add a second panel up top. Going to put in some Renogy batteries in here, 100 amp hour batteries. What my goal is to try to make it so I can run off solar for the weekend without having to fire anything up. And
as far as the batteries go, good. One thing that I didn't mention there. So dealing with the marine batteries, I tried to find how many amp hours they're actually good for.
Yep.
And I couldn't. There's a formula you can use and stuff like that, and never got a real clear answer as far as that goes. You can get into an AGM battery or what is it called? AGM anyway, a glass mat battery.
I mean, I can use acronyms, but they're going to be tech related, not battery related.
But anyway, they actually work better in the colder weather and absorbent glass. Okay, mat battery.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway, so they actually have amp hour ratings where you can, if you really wanted to, you could figure out I'm running this much amperage off of this thing, this off that. It'll run this for X amount of hours. Now on here, I'm talking about using 100 amp hour. Well, I broke down and bought a 200 amp hour.
And that weighs how much?
127 pounds.
Why don't you go grab it real quick?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically the same physical size as two marine batteries and basically the same weight as two marine batteries.
And it's supposed to work at colder temperatures.
Work at colder temperatures, and it's supposed to be more efficient at dispensing the power and being able to dispense more power or longer, whatever. But yeah, so
more power. We're officially improving, right?
Next.
1,000 amp subwoofer and surround sound system it takes a little bit of juice to run that.
There you go, Will.
Well, you got to have good movies while we're fishing, right? Okay. Now the other thing that I want to do. Now we're already going to show
Touch
you
on the
and
entertainment
Camp
system
David
one more time, but
how
that
we're
is
going to build
shack. So
a table lift, and we'll be having them for sale. We were going to buy one, and I just didn't like any of the designs that are currently out there. So we designed our own. We're going to be building that, and we'll show you how that works. But also, come across a couple really cool videos on how to make a bunk lift. All right, now this one is hinged,
Heavy.
and I'll lift it up and get it out of the way when I need to. But
fancy.
it's a little heavy, and I'm getting older, so why not be able to push a button? And so we're going to build a bunk lift and show you how we can make this go up and down. And that's something we're just going to show you how to do. We're going to feed off of other designs. I think you'll like it. Now, any of this stuff, now one thing with this, now, like I said, I built this whole shack here. If you have any questions about it, what you want to see, cabinets, surround, whatever, yeah, let us know in the comments. And maybe we'll do a separate little snippet on that as well. Okay, so
There you go, Will.
for those of you who know me, this is the reason why I had to build this shack. Okay, I had a much smaller shack, and my TV went out. Well, the price of TVs at the time, I wasn't going to spend more for a 32-inch TV than I was for a 50. 50 didn't fit in my old shack, so I had to build the Dutch hut. So what we got is we got a 50-inch TV. We got kicker, mini sub, or speakers, whatever. 1,000 amp booster hooked up to a nice big sub, and then we got the Jensen head unit there. Also has built-in DVD and CD player.
There's a subwoofer.
So if you're nervous about the ice cracking, we keep the volume down. Otherwise, we just let it run.
And sometimes, if you're nervous about the ice cracking, turning it up makes not even hear the ice. Might work too. I don't know. But also, some people say it might scare away the fish. In our experience, the fish like the extra oomph. So, all right. So that's the work that we accomplished this week and a little bit from a year and a half ago. Not a lot, it's we got normal jobs just like anyone else, and working on them as we can here. Any follow-up from what we saw here tonight?
Well, in the next couple weeks here, we're going to be getting into finishing up some of the projects that we started. I think everybody's seen pretty much enough duct work, but we'll show the finished product when we get everything, all the cedar in place, the registers in place.
Now, I have heard some interest as we're installing his entertainment system, what that looks like, and that'll be a whole nother project.
And the plan is to, you may have noticed in the clip of showing my TV in the Dutch hut there, that I enclose the television in kind of a cedar box.
Yep.
It is insulated in there for vibration. I put rubber
Condoms?
Now, what's a TV going to need with that?
It's protection, Dan.
Just a 1/4-inch rubber, kind of a soft rubber foam type thing in there to eat up some of the vibration when traveling. There is access in the back, which is important. You need to be, that might be a good spot for that, utilize that hole, but it's going to have bigger access than that. We're going to make more holes in Jerry's wall. But yeah.
You're watching, Jerry.
You're welcome.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're going to be showing all that, how to put that together. We already did showed the speakers going in. So
we did put, and those speakers are just attached to his radio, but we're going to replace his head unit with one similar to the Dutch hut where it can kind of run everything. Are you saying no? Oh yeah. Rewire everything. And I'm going to similarly do something with mine. I got some cool ideas. It might even be this year. I'd like to add a second TV into mine. It definitely won't be this year, but I got some ideas for that, which could be really
yours.
fun.
We need to get those outlets done and get the door done.
Yeah. So things coming up for mine. Definitely got a quote on some doors. Last we checked in part 2, I had to buy some parts. So looking at parts for the tire, looking at getting a full size door for not ants, and then one cable left to replace. But hopefully everything that's been going on, you've been following us on the journey. If you haven't, please go back and watch part 1 and part 2. You can find them on Facebook and YouTube. Now I will say next week, likely what's going to happen, we'll get some work done, But next week with deer hunting, if there are any hunters out there, we're probably going to be doing a video kind of around fishing fails, just kind of laugh with you guys, kind of get our reaction to some of those videos out there about fishing fails.
And being deer hunting week, maybe some deer hunting
fails.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did get a comment, not here, but offline, that we should do a barely hunting. Well, that's kind of what we do anyway. But
well, yeah, we barely hunt. I'm not gonna lie, I probably miss deer coming right by the stand because I like to take naps in there. They're warm, and like to take naps in the fish house too. So
yeah,
so definitely we'll put out what next week's going to be about. It might be a little easier week, just a fun Q&A. If you still have questions about anything we've done so far, please bring them up at that point. Please bring them up even after this video if you're watching after the fact. We're here to help answer questions and ideas. If you got ideas, we're all ears.
Yep.
Especially me. Look at them. I'm like Dumbo here. So.
And never know. We're always willing to sacrifice David Shack for the for entertainment value. So hey. But really, check us out. Barely Fishing YouTube, barelyfishing.com. Check out our shack. Easy for me to say.
Yep.
Shack plaques. We did get a little decorating done in the.
We did in
Barely
the Barely
Fishing
Fishing. Yeah.
2.4,
So we do make custom plaques and set plaques. You can see them all behind us. We have koozies that are all for solo cups.
Yep.
Solo cup koozies.
Solo cups or pounders.
Yep.
Raffle it. Well, should we announce it?
Yeah, might as well talk about it right
Okay.
now. We won't say exactly what, but might as well talk about the idea.
We're gonna upcoming episodes. We are gonna start a not a raffle, but a
giveaway.
Giveaway. Yeah. So the word escaped me there. Sorry about that.
How much Dak Daniels have you had?
Not enough, obviously. But yeah, we're gonna have giveaways, and we'll announce that more next episode.
Next episode, yeah. So next episode, we have a giveaway we're going to talk about, and have some laughs, have some fun, answer questions. So
everybody, thanks a lot for showing up too.
Yes, thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much. Appreciate you guys. So have a good night.
Night, everybody.